down and made up a couple of tomatoes to get the right scale here. Earth would be a 4-inch tomato and Mars would be a 2-inch tomato. The closest they get at that scale is about 1/3 of a mile apart going around the sun. The idea that something hit Mars and knocked a chunk off and it flew all the way to Earth and landed is silly. Chances of that is real close to zero. Okay? Here's some facts to consider about the Mars rock. Number one, they claim it came from Mars. We don't know that. Number two, they claim it broke off 16 million years ago and landed 13,000 years ago. What did this bacteria eat? How did it survive the impact? How did it survive the vacuum of space? How did it survive the entry, the re-entry, where it would have certainly burned? The freezing for 13,000 years. A NASA-funded team did the research, and the NASA grant money was stalled in Congress at the time this was going on. NASA had to find something to make themselves look useful, and so they called up this Mars rock, and the grant money was immediately released as soon as the Mars rock finding was announced. And then shortly thereafter they had said, oops, it's not really a bacteria. This is a normal carbonate crystal that forms. It's a simple geologic process. It's not a life at all. But they kept the grant money, of course. So that was the real purpose of it. The Bible says Eve is the mother of all living. I do not think there's life on any other planets except Earth. I couldn't prove that, but anybody that thinks there is arguing from the negative position. Nobody has seen any life anywhere else. We know of 8 other planets here in our solar system. There's no life on those, so I think we're it, folks. This is it. God did this just for us. Next question. What about theistic evolution? Couldn't God use evolution to get us here? I was in a debate one time, and afterwards this man came up to me and he said, boy, you don't give much room to us folks who believe God used evolution, do you? I said, no, sir, don't give you any room at all. I think you got a retarded God. So if somebody says, could God use evolution? I say, well, that depends on what you mean by God. It's certainly not the God of the Bible. The God that would use evolution or need to use evolution is cruel, he's wasteful, he's stupid, and he's deceitful. He's not the God of the Bible. It's not the character of God to use misfits and blind chance and death. My God gets it right first time. Jacques Monod, a Nobel Prize winner, said, natural selection is the blindest, most cruel way of evolving new species and more complex and refined organisms. He said the struggle for life and elimination of the weakest is a horrible process against which our whole modern ethics revolts.